Toxins create these fake estrogens in your body, and the fake estrogen just wreaks havoc. Greetings everyone, welcome back to Dark Feminine Consciousness. I am Tifara, and today we're going to dive into the menstrual cycle, the phases of the menstrual cycle, and I want to talk about how ancient women in Africa treated their menstrual cycles and how it helped them to maintain a balanced and happy life, and how we can introduce some of these practices into our lives, into our modern lives, to make it better for us, for our health, our well-being, and for our relationships. This is a very, very, very important topic, one that I don't think, as usual, is spoken about enough. Everything as it relates to women is so neglected. We have been so focused on trying to be in men's spaces and be like men, and have totally ignored our own stuff. And it's one of the reasons why men can come into our space and tell us that they're women, because really and truly we're not trying to differentiate. We're not trying to accept ourselves and embrace ourselves as women and all that comes with us as women. And one of the major things is our menstrual cycle. When we start our menstrual cycle or menarche, we don't get enough information about exactly what is happening in our bodies and what is going to happen over the next few years of our lives, right? Very important phases of our lives, and how this one thing impacts us and how we ought to be living in harmony with this change that's happened in our bodies, right? So in some cultures, young women are given a menarche party. They're given a celebration of this new phase and they learn about their bodies, learn about how to take care of their bodies, not just how to put on a pad, how they should be eating, how they should be socializing, how they should be treating their mental wellness, their physical wellness, their spiritual wellness during this time, because all of it is important. This is one of the things that ancient women knew as well. And so their menstrual cycle was the center of their life. I remember having a conversation with my friend about, how important her menstrual cycle is, and she was annoyed at the conversation, like, so am I supposed to make my period the center of my life? And I'm like, yes. What is so wrong about that? Because it is a very big part of your life. It's not just the 7 days in the month. It's an entire 28-day cycle. So you are experiencing this every day of your life. And so it's important to know how it is affecting you every day of your life. There are 4 phases, right? And what ancient women knew, that we are aligned with nature, right? In many ways we are aligned with nature, with earth, and also with the moon, with celestial bodies, with water. Like, there's so many ways that we are aligned with earth. And one of the ways is that our cycle reflects the changes in the seasons, right? So every month we change seasons. Every month we have a winter, a spring, a summer, a fall. Every month, right? And it is reflective of exactly what the earth experiences in these seasonal changes. The first phase is menstruation. That is 1 to 7 days, right? Even though we don't all have a period that lasts for 7 days, some of us have 4, some of us have 3, 5, 6, and 7, right? Some even longer, unfortunately. I like to acknowledge those 7 days as my menstruation, even though my menstruation usually lasts 4 days, right? But it is the winter season. It is your winter. It is a time of rest and restoration. It is a time to put back in. It's a time to step away from everything. I know this is not easy for women who live in this modern world, but to me, in the ideal world for me, women don't do anything during their cycle. Women stay home, they rest, they read if they feel up to it, right? Because reading is mental work as well. And so I would just prefer to be resting. It may be a time, if you feel the energy, also to do something creative. If you are a knitter, if you're a sewer, if something with your hands, it's a good time to put all of the good food in. Eat lots of fruits, drink lots of tea and water, iron-rich foods like beans, mung beans, especially black beans, chickpeas, quinoa. And I'm speaking from a vegan's perspective, obviously, right? But lots of greens. If you have a juicer, do lots of juicing, vegetable juicing. Just put lots of good things inside. Your body is going to love you for it, right? I don't recommend exercising during this period, because what we don't understand is that our body is more sensitive during this time. We can get injuries. Matter of fact, there's scientific evidence that proves that a lot of athletes get injuries during their menstruation. You can look this up, right? There are studies out there that speaks to this. So there are some places where women aren't allowed to participate in sports when they're on their cycle, because they can get seriously injured during this time, right? So I don't suggest going to the gym. I don't suggest running during your period. None of that. I don't also suggest making any serious decisions during this time. Our cognitive function isn't very good during our cycle, right? So it's not good to make any decisions. It's not good to decide to leave your relationship during this time, right? It's not a good time to make a business decision. It's not a good time to make a very serious purchase. It's not a wait until you're in ovulation. This is also the phase where basically all our hormonal levels are pretty low. Estrogen is low during this phase, and I would love to do a whole other video on hormones, because it deserves a whole other video. But ancient women, African women particularly, have huts. They call them menstruation huts. There's another name for them, particular name for them. In India also this exists, where women have designated spaces where they go during menstruation. That's where they stay during their menstrual cycle. They don't interact with men and other people during this time. It's just space to rest and relax and replenish. Other women who are in this space take care of them. So it's a really good time also for community. It's a good time to be with other women. It's a good time for sisterhood, to bond and connect with other women as well. That's why living in community is so important. They've taken away that from us, that comfort of living in a community where you have other like minds. When them call gated communities, or what we call communities today, I always wonder, why are they called communities? Because these people, generally you live in a space and all the people around you are completely different from you. You don't have the same mind. A lot of times neighbors hate each other as well. That's not community. How could you call that a community? That's a housing development, not community at all. But what this reminds me of in this time, these menstruation huts, and some people in these countries see them as oppressive towards women, but I think it's because they don't understand women. We women ourselves don't understand ourselves because we haven't studied ourselves, and they definitely haven't studied us. We live in a patriarchal system where everything is based on the male, right? Everything, all of our medications, everything is studied based on men. So we don't really understand how a woman's body functions and what it needs. We know as women, innately we know. We just need to go deep within ourselves for the information to come up to us, and we know what we're supposed to do. We just know, right? But we have to be in tune. We have to tap into self. We have to find time to be with self and listen and hear the answers. In our time, the only example in this space that I can compare to that is Bubble Hill. And it's unfortunate that Bubble Hill has become what it is, because there are hardly any women there. Young women aren't attracted to this space. The principle that they have introduced women to there is a 21-day principle. And I believe it's too extreme, where women have to be in isolation for 21 days. And I think with that type of extreme practice, they won't attract women. It won't be attractive to young women. The men are a whole other conversation I don't want to have. But the practice of isolation during our menstruation, I believe, is a healthy one. And so Bubble Hill is the only place that I can look to as an example of that. And I spoke with, and I would love to do an interview with her, Alicia. She's the youngest woman that is there now. She's actually from Brazil. Her English is not the best, but I think we can get through a conversation where she can answer some really fundamental questions that I have, and I know many of you are probably curious about. But I remember her telling me once that she takes the time to read, she rests, she works on her crafts, she works on things, she creates, she has time to herself, she prays, meditates, she goes within. She has time to go within, because during this time she doesn't cook. So her king man brings food to her. She doesn't take care of the children. The king man takes care of the children during this time. And so she really has time to self. And I don't know for sure, but I have heard that the women there actually bleed to the earth. So they free bleed. They don't wear pads, or definitely not tampons or anything like that. So they free bleed to the earth. That is another thing I'd love to talk about, free bleeding, because I've tried it myself, where I just lay in bed all day, and when I feel like peeing, I go pee, and that is when my period comes, where my menstrual blood comes down when I pee. And otherwise I'm just laying on the bed. I don't have a heavy period to where I'm laying in bed and then it's just gonna gush out. My period doesn't come like that, so I'm not worried. So I can free bleed easily without it being messy. I ordered some reusable pads. So what I'm going to do is wash my period out into the water, and then pour the water to the earth. So it would be the similar, not directly to the earth, but yeah. So that is the main thing that women and ancient women did during their menstruation, is isolation. They also used a lot of herbs to deal with all of the symptoms that come. They use food, not just herbs, food in general. They knew the foods that they would eat during this time that would nourish their bodies properly. to deal with the oxidative stress that they're going through, right? They eat iron-rich food and use iron-rich herbs, right? One of the main herbs I would recommend, there are so many, like my womb tea is one of the best teas. I'm not brag. I'm not bragging. It's just the truth. Like the combination of herbs that's in this tea is incredible, and it's great support for your womb during your cycle, right? And it's also so soothing. When you drink that tea, there's just an immediate like exhale. It's like that's what it feels like when you drink that tea. I'm not kidding. Even my king man said it. He tried it and he's like, wow, this tea is just extremely soothing. That is what our womb needs during this time, and even throughout our cycle as well. And so going into the next phase of the cycle, which is our spring, it's the follicular phase. So our energy levels are increasing, estrogen is increasing as well, and so we're becoming more outgoing. You know, it's just like spring. The insects come out, everybody comes out of hibernation. You want to explore, you want to see what's new, you curious. You understand? It's just an energy of you getting ready now, preparing yourself now for creation, which is essentially what's happening in your body. The next phase after spring is ovulation, right? So you are preparing yourself for creation. So energetically, that's what's happening as well. So physically, that's what's happening in your body. Your reproductive system is getting ready to create a baby, right? And also energetically, that's what's happening. The energy is building. You're coming out. And then of course the next phase is your summer phase. This is ovulation. This is the height of your cycle now. This is where you feel extremely energized. You are very bold. This is also where your testosterone levels increase. Like you are on par at this phase with a man. Energetically, you know, you're there with him. Sexually, you're there with him. You want to have sex. You want to explore. You want to create. You have energy. And so this is a good time to make a business decision. This is a good time to decide to start something new, a new relationship. This is a good time to tap into the ideas that came to you during menstruation. It's a good time to try. Also, what's physically happening in your body, estrogen levels are high as well. You feel beautiful. You feel confident. Your skin is glowing. You feeling juicy and sexy. You put on a nice outfit. You put on an outfit that you probably wouldn't put on, you know, on any other regular day. But during your ovulation phase, you want the hips to be swaying, you know, you want to show off your curves. You feel, you know, you let down your hair or you put up your hair, whatever makes you feel sexy, right? You're trying to get that. You naturally you're glowing, but you want to glow a little more, so you eye up a little bit more and so on. Maybe you put on some makeup, you know, whatever it is that makes you feel womanly. Like this is the height of it in your cycle, and so you want to take advantage of that. Take advantage of that energy. It's a good time to go out. It's a good time to socialize. It's a good time to be around other people, right? It's a good time to call someone you haven't spoken to in a long time. Try and be conscious of these changes that are happening in your body, because believe me, it helps you, because you know when are the best times for you to function. You know when you are high functioning throughout the month, and you will get most things done during this phase. Trying to be productive in your menstrual cycle is fighting yourself. I'm telling you, don't do it. The next phase is the luteal phase, and progesterone starts to increase. Progesterone is high actually during this phase, and of course what's happening biologically is that you're either gonna get pregnant or your body's gonna say, nah, we're not getting pregnant, we're moving on to the next phase to go back into menstruation. This is a period where you have to be careful because your body is sensitive during this time. It is very prone to stress during this time as well. So you want to keep stress levels as low as possible, especially if you are trying to get pregnant. Keep it as low as possible because the stress hormones are gonna fight the progesterone, right? And you don't want that. So keep the stress hormone away and keep the progesterone high. Progesterone, as I said, this is gonna need a whole other video, but progesterone balances out the estrogen, right? You don't want the estrogen to get too high either, so it keeps it in a balance during this phase. Progesterone is also put under stress by, what do you call them? Faux estrogens. I'm trying to remember, xenoestrogens they're called. But they're estrogens that aren't natural. They're estrogen that comes from like plastic, microplastics, from toxins. Toxins create these fake estrogens in your body, and the fake estrogen just wreaks havoc in your body, on your cycle, on everything, will throw everything off. A lot of the womb issues that we have is related to these fake estrogens within the body. Not natural estrogen is good. Nothing wrong with natural estrogen. It's the fake ones that are the problem. Also, in the luteal phase now, the last week, going towards starting over your cycle, the progesterone starts to decrease, right? Your energy gets low again. For me personally, this is the worst phase. I don't like this phase, and so I have to be very conscious of myself in this phase. And so what I try to do is make sure that I watch my energy level, I watch my moods very carefully. If there are things around me that are irritating me, I remove them or I take myself away. Simply, right? Because I have to protect my peace. I have to protect my balance. And what I do in this phase is very important for how I'm going to feel during my menstruation, right? So I'm not taking on anything stressful. I'm trying to dial it down. So if I'm usually very active during my ovulation phase, coming into this phase, I try to dial it down just a week before my menstruation, and I start to feed myself. I love using adaptogens like shatavari, reishi, all of the mushrooms. I love mushrooms. Cocoa, chocolate I have right throughout. I don't think that I'm magnesium deficient. The amount of chocolate dark chocolate that I eat, right? But so I try to increase a lot of these things. I try to eat a lot of avocados as much as I can, healthy fats. I should mention that during ovulation is also a good time for exercise. So if you want to up your exercise during that phase, from your spring and your summer, good time to exercise, right? Now when you're going into your autumn now, dial it down a little bit, maybe do some yoga, some light exercises, right? And then prepare for the next phase. That's it. It is that simple. I mean, it's not easy because we're not used to living with this awareness of ourselves and our bodies. So it takes some adjustment because nobody taught us, and so we have to unlearn and relearn how to be a woman. You have to make the effort, because this is how you're going to bring balance to your life. This is how you are going to function optimally as a woman. You have to live with an awareness that you are a woman, and so your needs are different. Your needs are different from men. We can't operate like men daily. Men go through changes throughout the day. Our changes happen right throughout the month. Like a man goes through his highs and lows throughout the day. So a man will have a low right now. I don't know if you ever try to talk to a man and it's like he's in a really bad mood or he's not very receptive. And like within 30 minutes, he's a completely different person, because the estrogen levels increase, and so he's just more energetic and more receptive to what you have to say. Like, and that's something that you have to really be conscious of, because then you may think that, oh, this man is crazy, like he was just being disgusting 20-30 minutes ago, and now he's suddenly more receptive, and you think, oh, it's because him feel bad. Not really, it's just his hormonal changes, you know. They have it throughout the day. It's a monthly thing, so we go through much longer phases of, we're not here where you have to say we're not receptive at all, don't want to hear it. Okay, so it's important for men to know this information also, because if you have wives, if you have daughters, mothers, just women around you in general, you need to know this information so you can know how to deal with the women around you. You know what they're going through, right? So you know when to have compassion, right? You know when you can bring certain things to them because they have the energy for it. Otherwise, it's best you give them time and space to rest and replenish. Also, another thing that they have done to women is they always market bullshit to women, right? And they market it in a way that they love to use romance to market certain things to us and tell us that when we're on our cycle and our men bring us candy and all kind of crap, that means that they love us. That's bullshit. One of the worst things a man can do is bring you sugar and a bag of garbage, things that don't serve your body in no way at all while you're on your cycle. It's the worst thing that they can do, and you can blame capitalists for these things, right? Market these things to women that do not help us in any type of way. They don't add any value to our lives. It's the worst thing that he can do, this bag of snacks. No. Re-educate men on what women need during this time. It's not this garbage snacks, cheese tricks and cheese puffs and potato chips and all kind of sweets, chocolate, milk chocolate. Chocolate is good in its natural form. That one where they put a bag of sugar and milk in it, that stuff is not good either. That's it for the 4 phases. If you have any questions, please leave them in the description box and we can further discussion there. And if there's anything else that you would like me to discuss, please let me know also in the description, in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching. Oh, I want to say big up to my new subscribers. We're at 19,000 subscribers now. Big up to everybody who is here. We didn't get to the 20 like I wanted to at the time, but everything in due time, and I rush nothing, right? I'm doing this at my pace, and I am glad you are here with me. If you were here before, I'm glad you are still here and that you came back. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you subscribe right now. Just pause, You don't even have to pause. Just look on the subscribe button right there so and click it. Thanks for watching, and we will link up in the next video. Alright, take care guys. Later.